Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Not a Trekkie, an all Star Wars Everything podcast brought to you by Red Cyclone Inc. Everything from Andor to Rebel One's Clone Wars to Obi-Wan. Now, I cannot stress this anymore. There is no hate. But the Saint Star Gate, the Saint Star Track, this is Star Wars. I'm your host, Tenacious T, aka Tatsuki Watt, my co-host for the Not a Trekkie podcast, the Merc with the Mic.
What is going on? What is going on?
We are back live in action, baby.
Yeah, we're
I'm
covering,
excited for this guest.
as you heard from the rap, we are covering Andor this week.
Yeah. Well,
uh,
from the little
jingle.
well, the jingle. I mean, the jingle is for every beginning.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? I had the jingle for the movies, which I miss. I miss that one. I might have to bring it back for like
yeah.
old times' sake. You know what I mean? But Andor was mentioned in the entrance, but every single time we do a show, Andor is mentioned.
Yes,
But we are casting today solely on the first season of Andor.
yes.
But before we get into that, there's some news in the Star Wars
A
universe, ladies
lot.
and gentlemen. A lot of news, a lot of things going on. First and foremost, 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi is this year,
Yeah.
and they're re-releasing it back into the movie theaters. For if anybody that wanted to go see it in the movie theaters, go ahead and do that.
If it
They
was
just
New Hope,
released a whole bunch of new posters for it. I was
yeah.
just looking at it, like right before the cast started. So
If it was a New
that's one.
Hope or Empire, I would definitely go see it. Return, nah, I'm good. Fuck them evil.
Yeah, well, you've already seen it in the movie theater when it re-released in the
I did,
90s.
I did. When they re-released the first time, I saw all of them when they re-released.
My only Star Wars experience in the movie theaters was the start of the Skywalker saga,
Yeah,
and then on and then forth. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but also, we got some shows coming out soon, right?
Yeah, shows and movies.
This year, shows and movies. Yeah. What shows? What shows? We
Ahsoka.
got Ahsoka,
Yes,
which
August.
I'm very intrigued to see what happens with her, because Rosario Dawson is like the perfect casting for that,
Yeah,
and she's hot. I mean, that's me and my misogynistic mind. You know what I mean?
yeah. That one's August 2023.
Be here before we know it.
We have Daisy Ridley returning to Star Wars in movie set after Rise of Star Skywalker. So basically, she's gonna have a movie right after the what happened after Rise.
Okay, so Ray is getting her own spinoff.
I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with that too. Maybe. Obviously, we ended off on Tatooine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm intrigued to see what happens to her, because now she is, she returned from the dead.
Yes.
So I'm intrigued to see what, maybe that left some everlasting shit that happens. You know what I mean? Maybe like she's haunted by things. Who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe Kylo Ren fucking stalks her in the shower like fucking Zordon does to fucking everybody else.
Yes.
Um, I just went left field with that one.
Yeah, it's fine.
But also it announced that Andor is getting a season 2.
Yes. And that also in August, late August.
And currently happening right now is Mandalorian season 3.
Yes. Also the writer of Clone Wars, he's into projects to do the next Star Wars trilogy. That's gonna supposed to take place like 60,000 years before the the Skywalker saga shit.
Okay, that's a lot.
Mhm.
That's a lot. But
A lot of stuff. But
yeah, so
it's cool.
that's any other recent news coming out?
That is it for what they
Well, off the
had.
top of my head,
Oh,
I'm
the
pretty sure
acolytes.
that's
Yeah. So they also have a Star Wars The Acolytes. Star Wars Acolytes is supposed to be Frozen meets Kill Bill will debut into 2024.
what the fuck. Frozen meets Kill Bill.
I feel like it's singing and kicking. I don't know what to think about it.
Yo, I mean, shouts out to my boy Mike Wazowski. He knows me. I can't stand the Kill Bill movies, man. I don't understand why the whole world likes him so much.
So
I don't like Uma Thurman. I really don't like her as an actress. She was great as Poison Ivy, but that was about it.
you know, I have the same feel for Kill Bill. I did never liked the movies, and I also didn't like the close up of her feet. I really did not need that. So
Yeah, yeah, I
it's
agree with you.
it's like two
I mean,
boats.
Lucy Liu was awesome in the movie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But I mean, David Carradine, we all know what ended up
yeah.
happening with that guy. You know what I mean?
I watched them recently. I watched them not so long ago with Jackie. I think I liked the second movie more than the other three, the other two. But I wasn't that crazy about them. But yeah, that's what they're saying. The Acolytes is supposed to be a Frozen and Kill Bill. I don't know what that is, but that's what we're getting, I guess.
Is Bad
And
Batch
then,
getting another
go ahead.
season?
Huh?
Bad Batch getting another season?
Yes, it is. The current season just finished.
Oh man, Hasbro just announced an hour ago they got the Jabba the Hutt figure coming out.
Yeah, they announced a bunch of figures too. So if you're into the Black Series, they're coming out a lot, and they actually getting rid of they actually putting back windows on the boxes. So
Also, I heard Boba Fett's getting another season as well.
okay.
Which will be cool because I want more of him kicking some ass. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like he's not a marshal. He's not. Like
yeah.
go back to being a fucking bounty hunter, kicking some ass, bro. Like don't get me wrong, the show was cool and I enjoyed it. And go check our cast on that.
Yeah.
But I need more Boba Fett. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I need who Boba Fett is. You know what I mean? Like go out and fucking kick some ass, man. You know what I mean? The Mandalorian's putting this shit to shame.
Yeah.
The whole fucking universe right now, everything what John Favreau is doing with this fucking with Mandalorian is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I really
I,
I've been enjoying it.
I can't wait for our cast on that. I'm not caught up yet. I think I'm on the fourth episode right now, and then what? There's six
There's only
episodes
four.
out right now. There's only four.
Yeah.
I thought it was more than that.
No, I think
Didn't an
it's
episode
six.
drop this
I
week?
think we had six.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's six episodes. Yeah,
I actually
let's
like
give
the
you
yeah.
your guess.
I've been enjoying it. It's been a fun series, and I like where they're going.
I don't want to dive too much into it because
Yeah.
that's a whole other cast and that's gonna be a fun cast. All of our Mandalorian casts are fun. So,
Yeah.
but we are today discussing Andor now officially can be labeled season one.
Yes.
So, me and the Merc over here collectively, there's arguments between the communities of what is the greatest Star Wars movie. It's always a toss up. Empire Strikes Back, always this. Me and the
So
Merc collectively both agree that Rogue One is the best Star Wars.
yeah, and not like everyone else's cast, we kind of go more into our opinion and not other people's opinions. And a lot of people tend
Yeah,
to go into other people's opinions. We kind of went through everything. We saw what we liked, saw what we didn't like. We reviewed it on this cast. So if you want to listen to our reviews, not a Trekkie on us. We actually have a playlist on SoundCloud. You just go straight to the Not a Trekkie and you can hear all our cast. We
done
haven't
every
decided.
single
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
spin-offs, Family Guys, Robot Chicken, which was
yeah.
amazing. I think I have to rewatch that soon
Those are
because that
great.
shit
Yeah,
was genius,
yeah,
absolutely genius. I think by far the worst is the holiday special.
yeah. I would never want to watch
That
that again.
I promise you,
I kind of want to
shouts
make
out to
Tyler
Mike
watch it.
Wazowski. He said that he knows about it and he will never watch it. Never even seen it once. He's like, I will never watch that piece of shit. You know what I mean? And I quoted him. I never watched that piece of shit. But yeah, Rogue One. So it dive down into what Rogue One was. It's basically the start of the rebellion.
Yeah,
The rebellion is happening. You know what I mean? And they discover that there is a Death Star. You know what I mean? And it's the first time the Death Star goes off. So it's trickling fucking shit through the cosmos. You know what I mean? Like it's you know what I mean? It's the team trying to figure it out, try to shoot over the message over to Princess Leia. You know what I mean? So basically that movie is about that. You know what I mean? It's this girl gets taken away from her parents. Her mother dies. Her father goes into the development of making this and gets out a message to her. And then it's just an epic ass tale. And Andor is introduced in this. So what this show is now is what Andor was doing before that movie. So it's a prequel of one character in Rogue One. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this guy Andor, he was basically he was a scavenger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was a dude on a planet. I forget the name of the planet. I
Casa.
don't have any notes. Yeah, he said it, not me. And he's just scrounging around looking for stuff. So in this time frame of what's going on of the period, this is the very beginning stages of the start of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like there is no real rebellion happening right now. There's a lot of different players behind the scenes that are starting to figure out that we need to break away from the evil empire. You know what I mean? Like so there's a lot of players, happening. So like he starts it off. He's like looking around for like his sister or something like that. Which I don't even know if it really was his sister, but I think he's just looking for this girl.
Yeah.
And then these two crooked, dirty cops come up, try to mess with him. He ends up killing them in self-defense. And then it starts
That's what they all say.
this little line of this one character, which let me pull it up on IMDb so I can get the actual names correct. But the guy who played him, like who played this character who I'm about to talk about, Cyril Karn, whatever
Yeah.
it is, Cyril Karn. He was just a goody cop, and they told him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's just sitting there bent out of shape. Just like, how dare you let two officers, even if they were crooked, how are you
Yeah.
gonna let them do it? So basically, ultimately, he ends up getting fired from basically like the Empire. I don't know how you get fired from the Empire, but you know what I mean. So like I was saying, there's a couple of players behind the scenes of this. So his name is Lutheran Rye, whatever. Stellan Skarsgård plays him.
Yeah.
He's in the Avengers movies.
Yeah. He's in Thor.
Yeah, he's in Thor. He's the older professor. He's been in a million different things.
Yeah.
Like he is probably, I think, one of my favorite characters in the whole show because he kind of is like Batman in
Yeah.
a way. You know what I mean? Like he is single-handedly trying to set up stuff so we can rebel, so the rebellion can do it. So they get a hold of this guy, which he knows him from like a past previous thing. And he was like, "Yo, listen, I need you to go with this team. You do not tell him it's from me. That you're here. You know what I mean? You're here on a mission, and their whole goal was to go break into this empire place and steal all their money. You know what I mean? So this is the beginning of the funding of the start of the rebellion, which is important. You need money, you need guns in every single war. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they didn't have any money. This is literally the start of the crumble of the Senate. So this is right after like years. I would say probably this is around the Obi-Wan Kenobi time, like for timeline wise. Darth Vader's out doing his thing,
Yeah.
and the Senate is still trying to grip. So if you recall in the prequels, the Senate used to be this humongous like domed room with everybody sitting on these pods, and the place would be packed out. It's like there's this other girl who's a senator that's in it. Pulling her name
So
up
this
real
is like
quick.
5 years before Rogue One.
Yeah, 5 years before Rogue One. So Mon Mothra,
Yeah.
who is the main person in Rogue One, that's orchestrating all this. So like she's one of the last senators there, and like if you watch it and you see the scene, like the building is empty.
Yeah.
Like the Empire is starting to take over. Palpatine already happened. You know what I mean? Turned into the Emperor. Everything's starting to crumble. The whole Republic is really like taking over. The Empire is the Republic.
Yeah.
So So they're basically them two are behind the scenes trying to finagle how to get this rebellion started without getting caught, without letting their loved ones know anything of what's happening. You know what I mean? They're playing double agents. So they hire Andor to go to this planet to go check out and to go basically rob this place. So which I thought was awesome because like nobody trusted him. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. You know what I mean? And then basically to sum it up really fast, because there's a lot more that happens, but they end up stealing everything, and the one guy who didn't trust him the entire time tried to dupe them and kill everybody and take the money, and he ends up killing him, and then he goes on the run. So like that is basically that's the first part. There's like three parts of the show that's going on. You know what I mean? It's him in his beginning stages. He's a scavenger, and then he goes on this thing where he doesn't want to be part of the rebellion. He's like, fuck this. I just want my money, and I want to go live my life with my girl. You know what I mean? That's all he wants to do.
Yeah,
And
that never
I'm just
worked out.
rambling on. I'm just going in right now. Don't
Good.
mind me,
No, no.
because I actually really enjoyed this shit. So like the whole scenes, the whole fight, in the Empire place, like it just I had to watch it twice because it was so good. It was just well written, well acted, a lot of action. One of the guys got killed by one of the rolling things.
Yeah.
Um, you remember the bear
Yeah.
with Lip?
Yeah. Yeah.
His uncle's the character that tried to
Okay. Yeah.
sabotage.
Yeah.
His name was what is his name? We got it all right here, and obviously his name doesn't pop up because I'm not prepared for this. I hope I'm not going too fast for
No, you're
everybody out
good.
there, but I'm just trying to give a quick
Oh, you
breakdown
talking
without
about his
ruining it for
it
everybody.
was his cousin.
Yeah, it was cousin. Yeah, it was his cousin.
Um, Ebon
Shit
Moss
is-
Brackett. It was his name.
What in the show?
Yeah, R.V. Skeen. That was his real name.
Okay. So like, so there's that whole thing. So single handedly, so the um the Skarsgård guy. I'm just gonna call him by his real name. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He is literally trying to fund the entire rebellion. So there is
Luthen.
no rebellion at this time.
His name is
Luthen.
Luthen. It might be easier
Luthen.
than Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
His name is
But
Luthen.
Skarsgård actually sounds Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Actually, it does.
It really does.
It does
It
sound like
sounds
a Star
very.
Wars name. Yeah.
So like he's behind the scenes. He's like, I don't care what it takes. We need to stop this shit now. You know what I mean? So this is the beginning stages. This is the shot heard around the world. You know what I mean? Like once the word got out, like shit started hitting the fan. So what he was this art dealer that that put this wig on. He was flamboyant. He was fucking awesome. And the reason why I say he's like Batman, because that's his alter ego. You know what I mean? That is his identity, which nobody would think that this guy who's as flamboyant as he was single handedly setting up, fucking destroying the fucking empire. You know what I mean? Which is super dope. Talking to the senator Mon Mothra, and she, you know, like them two horses, whatever the word is. I can't enunciate shit. This nasty pumpkin cider that I'm drinking.
It hurts my soul.
It really does, man. You know, yo, I'm an IPA guy, and I thought this was a pumpkin beer that was left over at a party that somebody gave me, and then it's a fucking cider, and it's nasty. But so, yeah, he's this art dealer, but he's really this fucking rebel ass dude and just whoops ass. So what ends up happening is now they basically, you know, the Empire's not dumb. They narrowed down who could potentially be the person. You know what I mean? That let everybody in, and Andor's face came up, and he was just so nonchalantly walking through his city, and then it got snagged up, and then he sentenced to 6 years in prison. So I think the prison part was actually the fucking best part.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. Now there's a lot of other things that's going on. Like I don't want to ruin it for everybody because it's still fairly new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in this prison is a high tech prison. Now he gets stationed there for like six years, and he just has to learn how to make parts for the Empire and stuff like that. And the whole place is like they don't care. They know you're not going to run away because the whole place is electrified. So the second you step out of line, like you're basically dead. So it's him trying to figure out how to get out, and then them figuring it out that nobody gets out. That they never let anybody ever leave once.
Yeah.
And so it's the whole time of him gaining the confidence and the trust of his fellow inmates. And it took some pretty epic like messed up shit to happen. Like I said, I'm skimming through it. I'm not gonna dive
Hey
in
man,
so much
it's all
stuff.
right. You keep going.
I want people to watch it.
Yes.
But tell me that didn't have like remember the movie The Island?
Yeah, I had a vibe with that. I could say
Tell me
that.
not with Ewan McGregor, and it just so happens Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yeah.
but it had such an island feel to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was super dope. Um, Ultimately, you know, the Grand Escape. I won't spoil it all. Like I said, it's still fairly
I like
new.
the Andy Circus a
But
lot in this show too.
who was
That's
that?
Kino Loy.
Okay.
He was the one that was in prison with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. The head dude.
Yeah, he was Caesar in Planet of the Apes.
Bro, he's a lot of
He's a
things.
lot of things, but he does a lot of
He's
motion capture. Like he's a great actor, but he does most of his shit like he's known for is the motion capture. Like he does like he did King Kong, he did Golem, he did a bunch of
he's always a bad guy too. You know what I mean?
yeah, he plays a great bad guy though. He was Claw in Avengers.
You know, it's crazy. I mean, overall, so like also now they basically escape all that. Uh, at the same time
Yep.
he was fired, and he's like going behind the Empire's back and like kind of like in the honor of the Empires, like realizing that nobody's like really caring, nobody's following the rules, and he's the one that's trying to hunt down Andor, and at the same time he's trying to build an alliance with people. So like that's where he's at the moment. Like he lived with his mother for a little bit. She shamed the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Andor's speaking of mothers, Andor's mother was badass.
Yes, he was.
He was so they were from a planet that got destroyed. So basically, if you've been watching like Mandalorian, it's like Mandalore. You know what I mean? Everybody, the whole planet got killed off. Da da da. So they had to flee, and like it was unheard of for anybody to speak this. But then the day she died, she had this hologram that literally was like in the American Revolution, Battle of Concord, the shot heard around the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody knows who shot, but it fucking went off.
Yeah.
This was the exact moment in time where it started rebelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the speech, like I get chills thinking about it because her speech was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And everybody was just sitting there like you remember you ever see Natural Born Killers
Yeah, I
with
remember.
Woody Harrelson?
Yes. I
When
watched it.
he did the interview in the prison
Yeah.
and everybody's watching it on TV and everybody just fucking riots because of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's faith, it's divine intervention. You know what I mean? This is exactly what it was. Like they literally had to turn off her hologram because they felt like people were gonna start rebellion, and then all of a sudden it just ruptured, and that was the beginning moment of the rebellion, which is
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Like it's you finally got to see where it actually started. Like I said, this is just a quick breeze through. I mean, you know what I mean? I've only seen the series once.
Yeah.
That I gave you a basic rundown of it. But with the most epic part is the last scene that you see on the
Yeah.
last episode.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with that. And it kind of
Mouth
it,
drops.
yeah. It brings in a lot of story. It brings in a lot of makes sense of what the rebellion became and what the empire is, and then it actually gives you more of a consensus that the rebellion at points are not as good as like they have its flaws. The same thing as the empire has its flaws, but it's a lot of crazy shit going into it. But the way they built it was great.
The last scene was the building of the Death Star.
Yes.
Fucking amazing, man. It's
Yes.
fucking amazing. It is so good. and we now know, 5 years from now, what comes of this.
I want to
So it's
know
like
what was the hiring process for the Death Star.
they probably killed everybody who ever worked on it. You know
I'm
what I
just
mean? Like
well, there was a bunch of casual. There had 100% had to be casualties of building that big ass ship. But what was the
they had robots doing
qualifications
it.
that they
They had
wanted?
robots. They had You remember they had robots crawling on it.
No, they had troopers as well.
Well, we all know they can't shoot or see for shit, so they probably were fucking horrible as
They
well.
could do one thing right. Well, they did leave a weakness in it, so there you go.
See, like I remember me and you having a conversation. Like so right before this happened, shouts out to Sriracha, one of the co-hosts of
Yeah,
Popcorny Podcast. When I told him that I was diving down in the Andor, he's like, "It's all right, it's okay," and like I can see now. I'm not bashing him. That's my brother. I'm not bashing him, but I can tell that his tastes are are. We have very similar tastes in a lot of things, but we have definitely
we
polar
have
opposites when
we
it
have
comes
our
to shit.
opinions on certain things, but I think in collective as we went through the Star Wars series, I think we have like a good insight to what we each other likes into the Star Wars universe. That's how I
I
see it.
completely agree because we,
Yeah,
we did it together. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So like, and we also fed off of each other talking about it and
yeah,
like certain things that I was feeling, and then you would like, hey, well, what do you think about this? Hey, you are right about that. You know what I mean? Like we can
yeah,
we help overall have like good insight of what the Star Wars universe is cinematically.
yeah.
Cinematically,
No,
I'm not talking
yeah,
about the graphic novels. I'm
yeah,
not talking about TV shows, nothing, because this is like my first time diving down into TV, diving down into shows, and I
yeah,
know they've been around for a while. But there was one thing that you said that really enlightened me a lot, and this was recent. Now, this is I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 21, 37 now. I'm not gonna front. You can listen to every single cast. I say this on every single cast. I didn't grow up liking Star Wars. I didn't.
yeah,
When I grew up to be an adult, well, 21 if you call that an adult, you can drink and die for your country, but you know what I mean. Mentally wise, you're still a child. But it was always everything that you ever saw with Star Wars was always stuff with like the Force and the Jedi and stuff like that. And you said to me, and it fucking enlightened me. He's like, because you weren't the biggest Star Wars person, like you appreciate it for what it is, but you said something that was so dope, and you were like, I like better the stories in the Star Wars universe that doesn't pertain to the Jedi.
yeah. I do. I think
I
they're
think that
more
is
collective.
a very enlightening conversation and mental note when watching these. Like thinking about it, everything that we like that's better that other people don't like has to do with nothing to do with the fucking Force.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with Jedi's. You know what I mean?
I.
Except for that Johnny Kang dude from fucking Rogue One. He's like, I am one with the Force. That dude, I
But
forget
he
his
was
name,
fucking
but
awesome, and that was
yes, he
Donnie
did great
Yen. You
because
can't fucking
Donnie
Donnie
Yen,
Yen,
yeah,
and he still
I
busted
didn't know his
ass
name.
blind.
Exactly. But he didn't even have the Force. You know what I
No,
mean?
but
He
he
just
believed.
believed in it so
Yeah,
much.
that was one thing I also liked too is the fact that there was also different religions inside these things. Like as in we and the collective as humans and like in general, like we all have different religions and different beliefs. So you have Buddhism, you have Christian, you have Christianity, you have like Judaism, you have Islamic, you have like a Hinduism and all that shit. So
You
we
got
all have different
Nazism.
beliefs. This is also
Nazism. You
shows.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
but
a lot of crazy stuff. But when you said that, and this was recent,
yeah,
it's like within the last 2 months or so that you said this, my eyes opened up so much, and I was like, because I do love all the Force stuff. I really do. I love Star Wars for what it is. But the single individual storylines of Rogue One and now Andor, you know what I mean? Like it brings like a really like average person feel to the universe.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It doesn't. You don't have to be almighty and all powerful and any of this shit to enjoy it. Andor didn't have any powers. He was a fucking street rat.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And now he's going down as we know how Rogue One ends as one of the leaders of the rebellion and never even wanted to be a fucking part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool, bro.
I
Like I
like.
really, really do.
I think I again like as we go into these movies and the cast things like that. I think me and you, when we go through these things, we have these conversations with each other, and like, what if this was different? What if that was different? And I think that's the difference between what me and you think and how we build our thoughts forward beyond this, beyond the movies and TV shows, and to other people is the fact that we actually bring these up to each other, discuss it, and then make sense of it. As in, like, my issues with Phantom Menace. Me and you actually talked about it. We had a full
Uh,
conversation about it, and then I opened your eyes to like, yeah, that didn't really have to be there. But
we
to
could have
other
just had
people,
fucking 15 minutes. We
yeah,
could have had a breakdown of the first 15, 20 minutes of a
yeah,
2 hour long movie
yeah.
about it and would have been completely fine.
You can
And
even
then
have the
have
highlights of the Power Racers in the second movie too.
the build up of fucking Darth Vader and the struggles that he's dealing with after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
It would have just been better that way. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi should have happened before, should have happened way before. You know what I mean? Like the story of what happened with him and like the seeing them come back at each other,
yeah,
because at this moment in time,
yeah,
before Obi-Wan Kenobi even happened, we had no recollection of any other word of them two seeing each other again.
yeah,
In any of the history of all the six movies of that. Obviously, we got the Solo movie, which is that movie would be awesome if it wasn't Han Solo. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like that movie would have been so damn good if it wasn't a Han Solo movie. It would have been fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
yeah. And
But
I think that's what
we
hurt
could
it.
have got that Obi-Wan so much earlier. You know what I mean? It would have been fucking epic, epic. And Don, not Don. I'm looking at a board and it has Donnell's name on it. Shouts out to little boy Donnell. But Jeremy, aka Sriracha, me and him get into arguments all the time because he loves Phantom Menace. I'm like, bro, if you love Phantom Menace, like there's something. I'm sorry, like
But it's also
this.
like
It's his personal preference though too. So like,
yeah,
I'm not bashing him in any way, shape, or form. I'm really not. That's his personal opinion.
yeah.
But we could live without fucking Phantom Menace.
Yeah, yeah. Like
We could.
I understand that too because Jackie, that's like one of her favorite ones, is because that's what she grew up on. So she knows that one because she grew up with. So she has that nostalgic factor to it as well. I I just like, honestly, when we watched it, I dissect it because again, we're reviewing movies that we watched already. So I already watched this. So now I'm watching it to dissect it, to see what
Yeah.
it ticks, and I think that's how we viewed it, as in going through the whole series and actually going through the updated versions of it that add the other movies to the scenes and stuff like that. When they added like Anakin to the Return of the Jedi and shit like that kind of disturbed me too because I was very annoyed by that. But we also had the collection of like having to go through these movies, having to go to these shows and stuff like that to have opinion of just like where it's gonna go. I think me and you tend to agree with each other, or we disagree, but we also have a consensus of understanding one another's opinion. When other people just like, oh, I like this, I like that, and that's it, and not having that discussion. Me and you, the reason why we do a podcast, we have these discussions, we talk about it, we have it on these casts. We tend to agree with each other more than often, but we do have our disagreements here and there, and that's fine because that's what makes a podcast, and that's what makes it roll to this day.
But I also have room to evolve too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I also, like, when a strong point is made, I do have the capability of not just shutting it down,
no,
actually seeing the side
yeah,
of the opinion. You know what I mean? Not make it into an argument, because at the end of the day, this is just pop culture. You know what I
no.
mean? But me and Jeremy got into a fucking
yeah,
argument. You know what I mean? That's my brother. That's
yeah,
why I can say all this shit.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But like, even watching Rogue One in the movies, you know what I mean? For the first time, I saw it twice in the movie theaters. Uh, Empire Strike Back was still my favorite movie until we did this podcast and actually broke it down,
yeah,
broken it down, breaking it down, talking about it. highlighting the other, the other things. What you call it? Forrest Whitaker, he had an appearance in
Yeah, that was
Andor.
cool. I was happy to see
It
him.
was fucking awesome because what's his face,
He had the.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
He went in there telling him that he needs men, he
Yeah.
needs weapons, he needs this. He's
Yeah.
trying to fund the rebellion, and this guy's like, no, I am not fucking doing that. Like, you're trying to kill my people, and then he just blackmails the shit out of him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they were friends 2 seconds before he blackmailed him, and then he was like, oh, that's how you're gonna do me, huh? You know what I mean? And then we saw the untimely death of him in Rogue One. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'm just happy that they got to tie in some of these major characters. I know that they dive more into, like, I'm pretty sure, um, like Rebel Ones dives into it a little bit more. I know that there's graphic novels and comic books that dive into this universe even more. Like, there's too much stuff out there for me to not know everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm only knowing it from in the cinematic form. You know what I mean? Like, I can only read so much. Like, and not everything is tied into everything. Some things are side stories. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But Andor was a good prequel to Rogue One, and gave, you know what I mean, like an insight of who Andor is. I don't know why they chose Andor to do it, to be the holster of the guy. And like, he'll forever be the guy from The Terminal with Tom Hanks. I love
Yeah.
that movie. He'll always be the baggage handler that kept feeding him food because he kept wanting to holler at Zoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gamora. You know what I mean? He'll always be that guy. But it's cool to see him in a leading role because he's actually a pretty decent actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like the fact that they made him a main character in this. I felt like his story in Rogue One wasn't fully told, and I'm glad they're doing this because it actually gives you the full lead
Yeah.
into
He
Rogue
didn't
One.
he didn't want to be a part of this shit at all.
And
He
that's what
just
I
wanted
love
his
about it.
money.
It's like, yo, he's like, leave me alone, and then
He's like,
he's
I
stuck in it.
don't want nothing to do with this shit.
Yeah,
I'm here for my money. Give me my money. And then he gets locked up. You
he's a
know what I
better
mean? And
version of
then
Han Solo.
I like Han Solo.
I
I
like
think Han
Han
Solo's a
Solo,
good
but I
character.
think he's the better version. Like the way they're telling his story is a better version of Han Solo.
Well, it's a better version than what Solo did for Han Solo.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because what Solo did for Han Solo really, like, showed no justice to Harrison Ford's Han Solo. Because Han Solo was a badass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was a badass in every single one of those movies.
Yep. Yep.
But it was just cool. It just shows you how fate turns things on people. Like, he didn't expect that shit, and then all of a sudden he becomes one of the leaders of the rebellion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's good storytelling, man. That's basically what it is. And there's no powers, and there's none of this. We didn't see the Force one time in this fucking show, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I do like all that world. I do enjoy it, but like, you enlightened me when you said that shit. A fucking light bulb went off in my head,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I do thoroughly enjoy the Star Wars universe when it does not pertain to, you know what I mean?
Cause
Just like this little general dude who's just trying to be a good cop,
yeah.
and he's haunted by the fact that nobody around him gives a shit. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm trying to make a fucking difference. Like, I don't blame him for doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we could tell he's gonna go dark as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine what's about to come out of this man. Because he lined up in the show as well with one of these female leaders, and it was kind of like a sexually awkward, angrily fight between them two. Like, for some reason, I was like rooting for them to like get together. I was like, I hope they fuck. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. I mean, I have to watch the show again. Like I said, I just breezed through it real quick. You know what I mean? Like, as we're podcasting about it now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? During the show, I was stuck in it, bro. I was so in it. It's just, that was like a month and a half ago when I watched it.
But yeah, I really dug the show. I like the story they told. I I'm very happy where direction is going. When the second season comes out, I'm excited to watch. I liked again when things don't involve the Jedi. There's a big piece of story that you don't have to really talk about. You don't have to have this magic and shit like that when it comes to the Jedi. So you actually get like a human story going into like different planets and different races and things like that. That's why I like the Mandalorian so much when they didn't have to deal with the Jedi's until like later in the season. They kind of had to do it because they had a baby Yoda, Gorgu and shit like that.
Grogu.
So Grogu, but it made sense going into that. We're gonna have more Jedi stuff with Ahsoka and things like that, but I do like these ground stories when it comes with regular characters and things like that, and
It's
that's why I like
it's
it
like
so
what
much.
like we always say, it's like not everybody in the empire is bad. Like, what are those people that just work on a computer that fucking doing the taxes for the empire?
Yeah,
Like, they're not bad people. You know what I mean? But it's also cool to see like they did not know what fate had in store for them. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I'm intrigued by it. Like, Andor's a perfect example. I don't want nothing to do with this shit.
yeah,
Leave me alone. I want to lay with my girlfriend. And he was home for like one day and went to prison.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and that's all because his body read that
yeah,
he was guilty of something. And they didn't even have any proof of anything. They're like, hey, you got grabbed by an android. The android said your heart rate was up, and you're going to jail now for 6 years.
yeah.
Have fun. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
fucked up.
it's so fucked up, but that's the empire for you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? But it's also good to see what the like now behind the scenes of how the empire is doing this, and ultimately building their grandest weapon of the time, which is the
yeah,
Death Star,
yep,
which I did not know was happening until that last scene. Mouth dropping, like dope as fuck, bro.
yep.
Because that's what he was making inside the prison.
Yes,
I thought it was cool. I
I
thought it
thought
was
that was
very
really
good.
cool too. I really did. I
I give
agree
that
with
shit.
that.
I would give that shit like a 4.6, man. I thought it was thoroughly good.
So the show in total you give a 4.6.
4.6, man, out of
4.6.
five.
I'll go 4.75. I'll go four and three
Four
quarters.
point seven five.
I just like the story. I like the story they told. I like the characters. I like the characteristics. I thought everyone played their part well. I thought the actors did a great job in just telling the story. It made me excited for the second part of it. So I really enjoyed this series. So yeah, 4.75. We'll get this series.
4.6 is right. I think that it went and the reason why it's 4.6 to me, like solely, is because of how fast it went from him doing the heist to him being in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like literally minutes
Yeah.
in like time frame of watching the show.
Yeah.
He gets home, like one episode. It was like two episodes on the planet, and then like he gets home, and then literally the second he gets home, he's in jail.
It reminded me of the Yakuza games I'm playing. That's the reason why I fucking found it hilarious. Because
You know what I mean? It's like,
one of the Yakuza
didn't even
games I'm
man
playing,
didn't even have the time to take a shit. You know what I mean?
exactly.
He took a shower.
Yeah. And it kind of reminded me of a storyline in one of the Yakuza games I played. So that's the reason why it made me laugh so much is the fact that he went home and got right back to jail. I was like, damn, that sucks. But
And now he's thrown into the fucking Rebel Alliance.
yeah,
You know what I mean? All he wanted
fine.
to do was just fucking get some money, man.
Yep, yep. People just want money. That's what they want.
Of course. Of
Um,
course.
yes, that's Endor. We gave our review. 4.6.
Fucking
I gave
Andor, man.
4.75. Um, we will be going back to Clone Wars season 3 very soon. I think we're gonna do Mandalorian first because it's probably gonna end within the next couple of weeks. So the next cast will be for Mandalorian season 3, and then we probably go for Clone Wars
Third
after.
season of Clone Wars.
Yes, third season
Clone
Clone
Wars has
Wars.
been there for a long time, so it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. We're going through it in our timely matter, and also the fact that we also have to factor a 22 episode show mixed with another 25 episode show with another 50 episode show with Morphin Cast and Turtles. So I try to balance it out so we could not have so much shit to watch. So I think Mandalorian going for next month would be cool because then the turtle seasons get a little smaller once we start back in Clone Wars. So that's the strategy that I'm working on.
Well, as long as we keep putting out content, we apologize for
Yes,
the
yes.
for the for the
Hey,
lapse.
hey, we're monthly
But
cast, so suck it up.
hey, listen,
This is
at
a
the same
monthly
at the same
cast.
time,
We're not weekly. We monthly. We do a
we
cast
ain't getting
monthly.
paid for this shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if anybody out there in podcast land would like to throw some sponsorship or anything like that our way, we will, put in plugs and
Elsa Grande.
you know what I mean? We tried for so long for Lagunitas, but that didn't pay out the way
Hey,
we
Stone
wanted.
Cold, Elsa Grande. Support our cast.
Yes,
We
we
want free broken
love you.
skulls. We'll love that. Drink
Ace,
enough of those.
California, I don't want your business. All right. 'Cause if you make cider, I don't want your business.
I
Okay,
want broken
cider's
skull.
trash. Cider doesn't taste bad if you chug it.
Cider. There's some ciders that are really good. Like the Ace one that you have right now. Pineapple one is really good.
I don't know. I'm drinking a pumpkin one, and it's so out of pumpkin season right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I put extra sugar in it and,
Yes, yes,
and,
sir.
and cinnamon and try to make it a little bit better.
There we
But
go.
yes, this is not a Trekkie, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. So, yeah, this is not a Trekkie. Follow us on all social medias. We're on Spotify and SoundCloud. Mark with the mic and Recycle Link. Spotify, Recycle Link. SoundCloud, Mark with the mic. You can follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Twitch, or Mark with the mic. Follow Recycle Link on all the same categories: Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify and WordPress. They have a lot of WordPress thing going. Check out his YouTube channel, Recycle Link. He has Resident Evil gameplay and a couple other gameplays with the Monster Hunter last update and things like that. So definitely check it out when you get a chance. Um, and follow my TikTok. I've been posting figure photography, beers, and
and
random shit I've been reading, comic book wise. So definitely check it out when you get a chance. Follow us on HT.
yeah, you can follow me at the Real Tatsuwap on Instagram. You can also check out the Popcorny podcast with co-hosts of Sriracha, the Straw Hat Tie, the Merc with the Mic. That is, a bi-weekly cast. We're doing a ultimate pop culture draft called the COC, the Clash of Classics, which people make fun of it, calling it the Cup. So we're gonna run with that. Um, we're starting to unveil all those. Go and check out the Popcorny 1975 Instagram page, as well as the Popcorny 1975 TikTok page, which is ran by Tyler, who is Straw Hat Ty, and he has his own TikTok page, Tyler underscore Los LOSSEE. Check out his TikTok. He does a lot of anime stuff. He's probably the biggest anime freak that I know. Go and check out the Popcorny podcast, streaming out on SoundCloud, also on Spotify, mostly Spotify. Soon to be on YouTube as well. We have some videos that we're trying to do. Always a shouts out to Game On, retro video game store based out on Long Island at 3 separate locations, one in Villa Place, one in Smithtown, one in Patchogue, satisfying all your retro video game needs. Also check out Game On, retro video game arcade located in Smith Haven Mall in Lake Grove, Long Island. Shouts out to Time Warp, shouts out to Retro Relics, shouts out to my Yoda, my my Jedi, the man who put me onto the Star Wars world, and I always give him a shout out. Shouts out to my boy Mike, aka Mike Wazowski, for without you, I would not be the avid Star Wars fan that I am. And also shouts out to my brother James Anthony for riding out with me for years, watching all of this. And that's it for me.
Yep. All right. We wrap this up. Always remember, follow the Jinkies.
Yes. Shouts out to Louis Beans.
Touch us for Louis Beans, our producer.
Producer.
He's the one that does and makes it sound pretty. So definitely shout out him as well. All right. Next cast we'll be doing Mandalorian. Expect that within the next month. And peace out. Later.
Yeah. Also, always remember, fuck Zordon.
Yeah.